You recording? Yes. Okay. What the hell have I done? Okay, so there's a story behind this. What you see here is a Suzuki B-King. If you don't know what a Suzuki B-King is, it's the second generation Hayabusa naked. That's it. So someone at Suzuki obviously did a lot of drugs before going into a meeting room and said, hey, I've got a great idea. Let's take the Hayabusa engine at 1340cc, the new one, and put it in a naked motorbike and make it lighter. Yeah, great idea. And they built it, and no one bought it. Nobody bought it. It was on sale for like 4 or 5 years, and it's kind of a shame, really, because it's an amazing bike. Now, there's many reasons why it didn't sell, and I can tell you straight away the most easiest reason why it didn't sell was the exhaust. So, you may notice, can you see this from here? So, on here, I have a genuine Yoshimura Cyclone. You cannot buy this for love or money anymore. Exhaust system. JMCA approved. Good luck finding that on eBay. And it's had all the deletes done. I mean, originally it came with these massive megaphone pipes that stuck out like this far with a horrible, horrible mudguard. It was ugly, big. It was a disgusting looking thing. But it was so easy to correct. All you had to do was just rip off all the crap at the back, like this one, stick a Yoshi on it, and away you go. You lose like 20 kilos straight away. So you've basically got a Hayabusa that was lighter anyway, and then when you take off the stupid megaphone exhaust system, you lost another 20 kilos, and there's some more savings to be had. Now, there's a few modifications on this bike. He's put, this is an extra. This is not standard. This is like an extra fairing right here. This belly pan right here, that's extra. The headers are original. Not many people make headers for these because why would you need to when it's got 200 horsepower? 200 horsepower. So it's 1340cc and it's got 200 horsepower. At the back wheel, it makes 160, and that's restricted. As soon as you uncork the exhaust and you tweak the ECU a little bit, you get 180, 190 at the back wheel. And ladies and gentlemen, this back wheel, she's a big MF, 200 rear section. And this is Pirelli Diablos, very good tires. When I took it for a ride, it would spin in first, second, and third. Wheel spin. It was terrifying. Terrifying. And I haven't taken it above 7,000 RPM yet. It's fantastic. So you're thinking, what the hell are you thinking, Daniel? Are you on drugs? What were you thinking? Well, look, I've got a long history of Suzukis. I've always wanted this bike. I've had, okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background on my Suzuki history. I had the original 1985 GSX-R 750, the first superbike, you know, the slab side. And that thing was terrifying and useless. It had flat slide carbs, skinny tires that were like this thin, and the frame, it was aluminium, used to flex, okay? And when it rained, because I used to commute on this bike, it used to drift. It was terrifying. And then the power delivery of the 750, because it was a flat slide car, because it's basically a race bike, the tachometer, the RPM gauge, didn't register till 3,000. It was just basically a race bike for the road. And I loved it. I loved it to bits. And my bike was in mint condition. It was a 1985, and it was perfect. But it was too difficult to ride. And at the time I was in London, I was commuting, and flat slide carbs, race bike. It's not a commuter bike. So I got introduced by a gentleman to a GSXR 1100K. Now, if you know anything about the 1100s, the K was called the Killer K. I didn't know this at the time. The 1100K was the fastest GSXR 1100 ever made, ever. And it was street fightered. So all the plastics are stripped out, it had the handlebars up here, and it belonged to a tuner. The previous owner was a tuner, and I forget the bloody name. Was it Dale? Oh, I forget the name, but it was a famous GSXR tuner. And that bike was so bloody fast, it was terrifying, okay? It was a legend. And I guess I can say this now because I don't live in England anymore, but that bike used to annoy the Metropolitan Police quite a lot. It was not stock. The engine's 1127, but I suspected it was 1216 cc. It had a full Yoshimura on it, and basically every time I opened the throttle, it would just smack me in the face like that. It was just terrifying. It was the fastest bike I've ever owned. Well, until this. And it was legendary. All of my friends used to call it the Kelly Killer because it was 1100K, K, Kelly, surname's Kelly, Kelly Killer. And it was great. I mean, back in the day, I was 20 years old, I think, just before offshore. I was a bit of a rebel, you know. And I used to pull up at the traffic lights, and this is what, 04, I guess? And you had the Fireblade, ZX10, you had all the new Leica bikes. And they used to pull up. I mean, they don't do this anymore because we get into trouble because all the cameras and stuff are back in 15 years ago. That stuff wasn't set up yet. So I used to pull up on this ratty looking 1100K. And everyone would be looking at each other like this, you know, light go green, bang, go. And the ZX10R was the fastest Leica bike at that time. And I never forget this race. So I'm on the embankment, on the north side of the embankment, from the Houses of Parliament all the way up towards King's Road, where it turns off. If you know London, you know what I'm talking about. Past Chelsea Bridge. And I completely decimated him. And when we got to the next set of traffic lights, we stopped, and then he stopped. And he was looking at his bike like something was wrong with it. And I looked at my visor and I'm like, you okay? And he goes, there's something wrong with my bike. It should be beating you. I was like, no, it shouldn't. Because when I was very suspicious of this GSXR that I had. I dynoed it. I took it to a dyno. It doesn't exist anymore. It was under one of the railway arches in East London. There used to be a place you could dyno your bike. And I dynoed my GSXR 1100K, and I made 160 horsepower at the wheel, which is what this makes. They shouldn't make that much power, so there was some mystery magic going on in the engine. And at the time I was a kid. I weighed maybe 80 kilos, 20 kilos, 25 kilos lighter than I am now. So that's why he lost. And it was so funny. It was basically like the troll bike, I just troll people with it. I used to bait people with it. I mean, it used to go off the clock because everything was analog. So the clocks went to 180 mile an hour and it kept going. I'm not going to tell you where it kept going, just in case I do get handcuffed when I go back home to visit family. But it was mental. And my love for GSX-Rs was just cast and iron from that point. And then I got a Bandit 1200, which is like the grandfather. It's the same engine as GSX-R 1100. And I tuned that, and I put cams and big bore kits and Yoshimura, and great street bike. I love that thing to bits. Then I got the new one, the 1250. The Bandit 1250 I had was amazing. Torque monster. But by 8,000 RPM it was dead. But that thing wheelied and was just a monster. At the time I was a bit poor and I was house sharing, and my flatmate, he had a GSR 600, which is kind of styled like this, if you remember GSR. And he bought a B-King just to one-up me, but he couldn't afford the B-King, he had to finance it. And he got into a lot of debt and a lot of trouble, and I don't know why he did that, but I was very jealous. I was like, oh God, I wish I had a B-King. And I've always wanted a B-King, but the prices are so high. Even now in England, the prices for a B-King are crazy. But in Thailand, it's a weird one. So in Thailand, there's a lot of bikes that you can buy cheap. However, they're not legal. They're stolen. They don't have any documentation, so you can't register it, and you have no number plate. And that's not good. You don't want that. You need to have is it a blue book or a green book, sweetheart? I can't remember. Is it green? It's green, isn't it? Yeah. So the bikes have a green book. I think cars have a blue book. So to find a B-King, because Suzuki were never officially imported into Thailand, so this bike was imported at great expense by the first owner. And the tax in Thailand is 300%, so times 3. So whatever the bike cost, the guy that bought this originally paid 3 times the amount in tax to bring it into the country and register it. And I'm pretty much the only person, I think there's only a handful of these B-Kings in Thailand with documentation, number plate, papers, legitimate, and this is one of them. So where is my MT-07? Well, I do love my MT-07. It was a great bike. It was really fun. And I kept hinting, it's the smallest bike I ever owned. It's a great bike, honestly, buy one. If you've never ridden a bike before, or it's a great middle bike. If you want to hoon around a city, MT-07 is amazing. Okay, it's a great bike. Don't let anyone tell you any different. It pees all over the SV650 ER6. It is the best middle bike, okay? It is the best. But the problem is the suspension is rubbish and the brakes are rubbish. And I tried, I put Öhlins in the front, I put Brembo pads, I put a Brembo master cylinder, but it just wasn't performing to my standards. And I was just browsing Facebook last week, and this popped up for sale. And whenever I see one, I message the guys and go, do you have the green book? Do you have papers? Is it legit? And the answer is always no, 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 no. And I was like, oh, it's a stolen motorcycle. Why the hell would I pay that? There's a shop down the road selling this bike for 500,000 baht with no papers. I mean, they must be on some sort of I don't want to say what they're on. They're never going to sell it because it's obviously stolen, and why would you buy a stolen bike for that much money? I literally part exchanged my Yamaha for this, and about £300. That's right. And the last time I was in England, when I was looking at these were still very expensive. They were going for at least £6,000. So I've done very well. Now, it's not in perfect condition. It's got 40,000 kilometers on it, but it's a Hayabusa engine. These things are bulletproof. Spares for these things exist everywhere. And I mean, you can bore and stroke and supercharge and turbo. I mean, I'm not going to do any of that because this thing is insane anyway. But this is the bike I've always wanted. I've lusted after it. So yes, I bought a B King. King of all bikes. This is the fastest bike pretty much in the world. S1000s, Panigales, all those big bikes. This thing comes along and it'll whoop them. It'll whoop them up to about 200, 250 kilometers. And it's comfortable, supple, it's smooth. And it sounds nice too. It's the exhaust is completely road legal. Have a quick start. The gauges on this are much nicer than the Hayabusa. On the Hayabusa, if you come round, they still have like analog tacks, but this one doesn't. You've got a gear position here, so neutral, 0. You've got your speedo reading here. RPM. I do love a manual RPM. I do like the needle. Tells you the coolant. Tells you the fuel. Fuel's getting empty. I've been getting a bit greedy. It's got loads of adjustment. It's got loads of buttons here. A, B mode. A mode is full power. B mode is half power. Well, not half power, but 70% power. And you can just, it just gives you information, but who cares about all that? I'm going to give it a thorough service, maintenance, change sprocket, tires, brakes, discs, the whole works. The great thing about this bike is it's got Showa forks, fully adjustable rebound and compression right here. You adjust them here, but I've set them up perfectly. You have radial Nissans right here, and they stop very well. These discs, they're the original discs, so I'm going to replace them. I can feel the groove, so they're going to go. The wheels are past the best, so I'm going to have them taken off and repainted. But Thailand, that's cheap. But let's give her a little listen, shall we? Sounds perfectly innocent. You'd have no idea this is 1340cc. I mean, that's bigger than most car engines these days. I mean, they keep downsizing them. 1,340cc. It's crazy. And the weird thing is, it's a big bike. Oh. And when you sit on it, it's got these big, intakes here, right there. But it doesn't feel big. The way it carries its weight is amazing. And what's even more amazing is that it's so supple and stable. When I hit a bump, it doesn't jolt like the old bike did. It just glides. I don't know if it's the weight or the superior suspension, because both ends are fully adjustable Showas. Yeah. She's not too loud. Completely road legal. The Japanese have very strong restrictions on the exhaust sound. But I think I might change that. Hey, it's Thailand, right? I think your MT-15 is louder than this, right? Yeah. You've got an Aprokovich. I'll figure it out. I've got my iPhone mount here. This is one of the old ones, the RAM mounts. It works. Seen these before. They're pretty good, actually. I mean, I did a crazy pull on this with my iPhone on it, and it didn't move. And you got the extra thing here. I've never used it, but this supposedly gives it an extra bit of support for your phone. But I'm going to go over the whole bike. I'm thinking of changing the color because black's just a bit boring. I'm letting Unita. She's very arty. She's very good with design. She's probably going to cook up a nice idea for the design of the bike. If you have any ideas, you know, let me know. But yeah, I know I did say that you don't need a big bike in Bangkok, and that's true. This is insane. I mean, this is the complete opposite of everything I've ever said. I'm a hypocrite. I'm not afraid to admit that. Hypocrite. But oh, it's got a steering damper, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Right here, which makes it very nice. Right here. Can you see that down there? I love these. So that's a steering damper. So when you're at low speed and you tuck into a corner, one of the things I hate is that little jolt that you get. I don't know if you guys ever felt that, where you get a little, that little kick, little slip. But when you got one of these, it's just smooth like silk. I mean, if someone says describe the bike in one word, I say smooth. But also powerful. I mean, this is the kind of bike that 4 would ride. Even Captain America couldn't handle this bloody thing. It is absolutely insane. And what's really funny is that we went through heavy traffic yesterday, 2 up on this. And on the MT-09 and the MT-07, the temperature got really hot and you could feel the heat blowing. It burned my leg. On this, I don't know if you can see all the cooling down there, but no, I couldn't feel anything. It was so cool. Not once did I feel like it was overheating. A temperature gauge, it's got a temperature gauge on it. It never went over half, which is amazing considering the size of the engine. So this is my new project. So I'm going to de-restrict it, get it back to its full 200 horsepower. I'm going to put a Bazaz. It needs traction control. The new Bazaz system's got traction control. I mean, first, second, and third, it's just trying to. It tries to slide and kill me. I don't want to die. I've still got a good 40, 50 years left in me. I don't want to kill my girlfriend either on the back. But yeah, it's a great bike, and I got a really good deal on it. It's legitimate. I'm going to change the chain and sprocket. I've got the little things here to lift it up. I forget what you call them, so I don't have to buy those. You can tell this has been loved and looked after. It's got mushrooms on it. It's been dropped on one side, I can tell. But I mean, these are heavy bikes, and I'll be lying if I told you I've never dropped a bike. I've dropped a bike. I've dropped my Ducati. But now I've dropped my Ducati. It happens, you know. What I like about Suzuki is how easy it is to access everything. Battery right there, and all the electronics are there. There's nothing that's been added, so it's all fully standard. There's no trickery going on here, which means she is ripe. Now this unlocks that. I'll take that upstairs and have a look. Oh God, how do you put this back on? And I guess you can consider this an early Christmas present. I know it's not car related or Yamaha related. I still love my Yamahas, okay? I haven't given up on those. The M-Slaz is gone because we're going to be working on the MT-15 now. But yeah, that's where we're at. So this is my B-King. I know we're filming at night. I'm filming at night because the assholes, can I edit it out? The bum holes that run this building are really, really horrible and aggressive. And if I do it in the daytime, they come out and go, you can't film, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. So I just wait for them to go home and do it at night. Screw them. What are they gonna do? Kick me out? They can't. Can't do anything wrong. I just don't want the aggro because they'll be walking in front of the camera and arguing, and you don't want me to lose my temper. I don't want to lose my temper, so yeah, I did it at night. So sorry for the dark footage, but it's a dark bike. But yeah, I think I did well here. I did well here. Unita, what are your thoughts? What do you think of it? You can speak.
I think it's so dear because it's big and you're big.
Well, I'm used to the big bikes. Yeah.
For me, when I'm sitting in the back, I think it's more comfortable than MT-07.
Yeah, it's a better tourer bike.
MT-07 is hurt my bum.
We need to get a windshield, I think, up here because I wore a half face and my face was going like, oh, like that when I pulled in third gear. I cannot put it into words how fast this bike is. Just remember the Hayabusa Generation 2 is one of the fastest bikes in the world. This is a Hayabusa Generation 2 naked. That's it. So just put that in your mind. It's crazy. They don't make them anymore because probably people died. I don't want to be one of them, but I'm used to big bikes, as I just explained, so we'll be fine. I find it more stable, more steady. It's like a BMW 7 Series. It wafts along, and when you want to hustle out the way, you just woof, you're gone. Great bike. 108 foot-pound of torque, 160-ish horsepower at the wheel standard. And I know it's making more than that because it's got the Yoshi system, but she's a beast. And yeah, I'm kind of crazy. Alrighty, that's me, that's the B-King. I bought a king. Midlife crisis? No, I'm not old enough yet. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please check out Unita's video. She's not a native English speaker, but she does a very good job. She tries hard, and her car is super cool. I'm jealous, and it's very unique. And that's the video before this one. I'll put a link. Wait, hang on a minute. This is YouTube. So subscribe down here. Her video's up there, and I guess the Yamaha videos are down here. Okay, cool. All right, I'm nearly at 6K by the way, so thank you very much for getting me to 6,000 subs, and I hope more of you keep subscribing. I appreciate it, and yeah, have a good day. All right, take care. Bye-bye.